Good afternoon, everyone. We are the members of the second group. My name is XueJiao. Student number is GS63965. We will introduce our group members. First, please, Xiao.
Hi, good evening. My name is Xiaoxia. My student number is GS63870.
Second one is Jiang Baohong.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jiang. My student number is GS63868.
Next, we have Han Qianyu.
I'm Han Qianyu. My student number is GS63920.
Next, we have Beilei.
I'm in Beilei. My student number is GS63888.
The last one will be Xiao.
My name is Xiao, and my student number is GS64351.
Okay, these are all the members of our second group. So guys, have you seen the latest news? There have been some recent news reports about the cashless society.
Yes.
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 Yes, there are a lot of people with different ideas.
Well, you all seem to care about current affairs. So the topic of our discussion today is a cashless society possible? Let's start by explaining what a cashless society means. Maybe someone can say something.
Perhaps I can explain. In recent years, with the rapid development of the internet technology and the widespread use of the smartphones, paper payment method has gradually changed from the cash payment to cashless payment. In English, for example, you can pay for car wash by mobile phone. In China, you can use the WeChat to scan a QR code for a meal. In Germany and the US, you can use Paybox to take the tax. In a word, in the cashless society, people no longer need to carry a large amount of the cash when making consumption. They can just use digital currency to buy goods and the service.
That is to say, cash is going out of the transaction market, and instead, people are using digital money for transactions.
Oh, yes.
Just now, Xiaoxia explained the payment behavior of people in the cashless society with some examples. But what does it mean to be a cashless society? Who can tell me?
In my opinion, with the increasing popularity of cashless payment methods, as people no longer carry cash in their wallets, so people call it a cashless society. It refers to a society in which cash transactions, including notes and coins, are replaced by digital money in social transactions.
Well, Han Qianyu gave a professional definition just now. It makes us understand the meaning of cashless society. But is there really no cash in the cashless society?
I don't think so, because some disabled people and elderly the children may not use mobile phone payment when they buy some goods. So I don't think cash will disappear entirely.
I agree with you. I think the mobile phone signal is relatively weak in some remote areas, and you still need cash to buy goods. Even in cities, cashless completely probably inconvenient sometimes. For example, in China, when we go into farmers' market to buy vegetables, it's common to see elderly people who do not use smartphones to sell their native eggs or home-grown vegetables. They have no QR code. But customers, especially young customers, who only bring his or her cell phone to go shopping for payment by their mobile phone. So the elderly people have to ask the merchant to collect money for them by their QR code. Or use their son or daughter-in-law's QR code. Then they will ask them to return the money to them later in cash. This is a dilemma. Maybe make elderly people feel very embarrassed.
I also agree with the previous two students. If there is no cash at all, it may cause inconvenience. So I think the share of cash will decline in a cashless society, but it won't disappear completely.
Well, from the discussion, we can know that cashless society is a society in which cash transactions, including notes and coins, decrease or disappear in the social transactions and are gradually replaced by digital money. So let's discuss some of the developments in the cashless society now. Who would like to talk first?
Let's start with me. For many years, the world has been moving towards a cashless society. The earliest evidence of this comes from Sweden, where in 1919, committee appointed by the king recommended that Sweden introduce postal transfers in order to reduce the use of cash. Today, the government does not have such a clear objective. In fact, they have new legislation to protect the cash.
But studies show that consumers and businesses are giving up cash. Sweden, Finland, China, the UK, and Australia rank first in terms of becoming a cashless society.
Well, however, there is no standard path to becoming cashless. We can see the path on the demand and the supply side. In Sweden, the demand side, customer or merchant, has disappeared and digital support, such as card support and mobile support, which is the first choice. Similarly, in China, people prefer inline application support solutions, such as WeChat Pay or Alipay. In other countries, such as Singapore, the supply side, especially the government, is driving the development of a cashless society. The supply side debate is often about new value creation, achieving financial inclusion by getting around the middleman and developing tools to fight against corruption.
There is growing interest in many countries, such as Australia, Finland, Korea, and the UK, to provide more cashless payment solutions. Cashless payment is used as a means of supporting digital payment tools and digital access to payment process, often related to communications and internet, leading to the reducing in the use of replacement and physical cash. Countries are keen to replace physical cash in order to achieve national goals of financial inclusion, update their international financial structures, and reduce fraud and money-related financial activity.
Okay, so far we have learned how the cashless society is developing now. So it is good or bad to develop a cashless society? Maybe we can discuss the pros and cons of a cashless society.
I'd like to share my opinion. As far as I know, cashless transactions are convenient for people. The ease of financial transactions is probably the biggest plus. Now, whether it is commodity transaction, repayment, daily gas, water, and electric payment, plane and train booking, hospital registration, insurance, financial products trading, and so on, can be done with a mobile phone. It has fundamentally changed the traditional mode in which people have to go to relevant places to pay or queuing up at bank branches and use fixed machines to transfer and trade funds.
Yes, no matter when we go shopping, travel for dinner, take a taxi, or even buy a watermelon on the street, we can take out our mobile phones and scan the QR code, and a transaction can be easily completed. No need for wallet and cash.
And there is another benefit to going cashless. Cashless transactions reduce risk. With the advent of the cashless era, we no longer have to worry about wallets and cash being stolen because they don't have any cash on them. What else can a self do in a cashless world? Steal your cell phone does not exist. I can cancel my account and change my password at any time. You can steal my phone, but you can't steal my personal information and property account.
Yes, it can also put an end to fraud. Nowadays, some people are escrow in order to gain the profits. And even print a large number of the realistic paper managed to make huge profits. Although the anti-counterfeiting technology is constantly updated, but the China still have a way to get fake money to the point of the very realistic. Sometimes even the detector can get through. A lot of people are suffering the counterfeit money. A cashless society could put an end of the counterfeiting.
However, losing your mobile phone can be extremely inconvenient. Mobile phones are used frequently in our daily lives because of popularity and convenience of mobile payment. Many people are accustomed to using it. So the phone number of many young people often linked to various payment platforms. When a mobile phone is lost, it's likely to cause a certain loss of its own property.
Okay, that's true. Once the stay-up password of the mobile phone is correct, all the information on the mobile phone will be directly exposed. They can log in and operate all the major payment platforms and bank cards bound to each platform through the mobile verification code, especially now. Alipay and WeChat the mobile payment do not need to enter a password, but only need to provide the corresponding payment code to complete the operation of payment. If someone picks up money and opens the phone, it can be said that their property will be greatly threatened. In addition, there are all kinds of communication software on the phone. Once it is picked up, the criminals, they are likely to use it to carry out some fraud activities on the contacts on the phone.
By the way, we all know that online fraud is more likely to occur in cashless transactions in the age of electronic money. People face new risks. In internet fraud, telecom fraud is multiplying. Criminals take advantage of society loopholes to steal or forget other people's identities. Those who go cashless often have their account numbers cracked and their money disappearing in the online world without realizing it. Cash, on the other hand, is safe and you don't have to share personal information with credit card companies, mobile payment developments, or even banks when you use it.
Yes, the information we provide to the payment platform contains important personal information. Furthermore, many elderly people are victims to phone fraud. Such cases occur one after another, and some illegal person even use QR codes to defraud others.
But the cashless payments can also boost a country's annual GDP by as much as 3%, according to the research.
Well, besides, we should all realize that cashless transactions can be brought digital and receive discounts. Many governments offer many incentives to promote digital transactions. In India, for example, credit card transactions are exempt from service tax and a 0.75% discount is offered on digital fuel purchases. It also saves the train ticket and road tolls. Buying insurance can also help you cut costs. This, coupled with offers and discount offered by mobile wallets such as cashback, as well as reward points and existing loyalty revenue, can help saving money.
However, there is another issue. Cashless purchases are more likely lead in overspending. In the past, money was spent in cash, but now cashless has become money data on major payment platforms, reducing the impact of spending money. It's quite easy for ordinary customers to focus his or her attention on goods itself without spending money in cash. It is likely to lead to shopping impulses and beyond the customer's purchasing power.
There is also the issue of the borrowing. We used to spend when we had money and save when we didn't. Now, is different. There are workers of the online leading plant first on the streets, and they don't need complex procedures or complicated personal information. As long as you provide your ID card information, you can get notes from this plant first. Such convenience makes many low-class employees and even students struggling in your big cities spend money more freely. And some even live in a borrowing behavior or rather pit to poor, pay poor, forming a vicious circle.
Okay, it seems that cashless has both advantages and disadvantages. But in general, the advantages will exceed the disadvantages. So, do you think we can make a cashless society happy now?
No.
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 Okay, everybody agrees that a cashless society cannot be made a reality yet. So, can you explain on what exactly are the other issues that could lead on this result?
Or maybe firstly, infrastructure in some countries designed to meet the requirements of cashless society. The energy and telecommunications sectors are particularly important in the payment environment, and the payment system frequently require power and a telephone network to function. More advanced payment methods such as the cell phone, the widespread mobile network with tower covering large populated areas of a country. In a case of active central banking regulations, as well as the general and banking law, support for creativity necessitates the use of a software environment. As a result, the performance of cashless payment solutions may suffer as a result.
Yes, in countries with low infrastructure rankings, such as Qianyu and Vietnam, a less reliable support for payment often leads to high power cuts and lost calls to mobile phones, which stops POS devices from getting permission to pay when they need to work without a connection. A good mobile phone network faculty can allow a country to move out of the way of poor access to draw land-based telecommunications or power faculties in order to benefit from mobile support efficiency.
And the availability of the mobile payments can also allow a country to successfully able millions of the consumers to use the cell phone for the payment. For some reason, the lack of the power stability wouldn't be a key factor of the imitation. The use of the QR codes removes the need for the electrical connection to power the POS device and the location of the customers. The consumer can now simply scan the QR code with his or her cell phone, or just use the cell phone, and the payment will be effected almost immediately with no additional physical support. A sign of a more digital local environment of the application.
However, developed countries often have to deal with the challenge of introducing new and high technology payment systems in local low digital environment. This is because traditional shopping centers, supermarkets, and restaurants are traditional shopping environments that have already switched to cashless payment system with credit and debt cards. As a result, the focus of cashless payment has moved to places where the purchase of small amounts of money and cash have become the main method of payment, such as the Singaporean for food and drink shops, where cheap meals are sold.
Yes, business processes in some developing countries are frequently non-digital. For some developing countries, the concept of cashless payment system is a fresh term. Maybe those countries only can offer some public services like electronic, natural gas, and water. The challenge of cashless payment in such countries maybe just for an opportunity. But for Singapore is a good example. This country can aspire to be a cashless society with a well-developed national basic structure, some of its local support environments for payment system solutions.
Also, consumers may have data privacy and security worries. Germany is an extra case in my search for cases where there is no cash. Despite a well-developed basic equipment, there seems to be a strong dislike of the use of plastic in Germany, with strong use of cash being recorded in all payment methods. It's particularly troubling that there is a case in the German shopping market. Also, consumers in many other development countries with highly digital shop environments show a much higher level of cashless use. This is often realized through the application of more modern NFC and non-contact payment systems, not least because the cost of these technologies has decreased significantly. The shift to no cash payments raises data and security issues. Given the country's cultural characters of debt advance, household saving, and financial saving, it seems likely that this situation will continue.
One interesting thing about Germany is that the German word for debt also means guilt. So some Germans would say, look at please, we are German. So this example shows that despite a highly developed physical environment and a highly digital local environment, the novelty of solutions may remain low due to consumers satisfied with the cash and concerned about the lack of cash solutions, such as data privacy.
Generally, I think Japan is also a country worth studying. From the outer perception, Japan has an image of the large high-tech country. In reality, however, the use of the no-tech method is more common than many people think. Japan has a less rigid environment for many local situations. We will explore classic shopping environments, including restaurants, shopping shops, small restaurants, and convenience stores, which require fast purchase checkout, but which is still gently use a slow and less advanced payment technology solution compared to some of the country's major city centers. In large city areas and throughout the world, as a result, Japan is not as advanced as perceived in terms of the introduction of the use the industrial implements and mobile phones. Although the government's plans to speed up the flow of the matters in a more modern way, there is still no carrot financing for only 20% of the world purchase. Finland, the Cindy, which is a world leader, and many other Western and Asian countries. Japan is an example of the country with a highly developmental physics facility, but it has been slow to move into the advanced payment technology solutions to achieve faster payment, including NFC visit and non-contract payment.
But it is important to take into account that there is increasing credit card risk of failure related to unprotected POS post payment processes at businesses. At the same time, the number of personal credit card information compromises in Japan has been increasing in recent years. In addition, a number of cases of personal credit card information being compromised have been reported in Japan, including those involving illegal access to the computers of credit card traders with poor safety measures. These compromises have also led to increase in the number of victims involving illegal to use of credit cards, including those made through fake credit card payments and online trading by fraud.
Yes, it made 2016, an issue of Japan was reported in which a fake card issued by the South African bank was used to make an unexpected payment for cash without permission. In just 3 hours, a total of over 1.8 billion Japanese yen was taken out of ATMs at convenience stores across the country, leading to the significant losses. Therefore, in order to avoid additional damage caused by illegal credit card trading, the Japanese Credit Card Association and the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry took the lead in the formation of the Credit Traditional Security Committee in March 2015, with the goal of getting up an international level of security for credit cards, with the goal to secure credit card trading by 2020.
Looking overseas, the USA and Japan is behind in the introduction of IC card payment systems and has suffered from a concentration of damage caused by unauthorized use of credit cards from around the world, but the country has been pushing hard to introduce them. As the trend of the introduction of IC card payment system continues, Japan is facing an interesting risk of becoming a country prone to credit card security breaches and international crime in the global society.
There's also the problem that adults and older people are used to using cash. As we all know, Singaporean consumers have a habit of using cash at small centers. Like many adults and elderly people in other Asian countries, they shop with cash. However, there's common in many countries around the world, and it's not a unique cultural difference. From this study of consumer buying behavior in small centers, we can see that many people naturally reach into their pockets for cash. Although there are clear evidence that there's cashless payment option.
In fact, there are many problems with a cashless society, including the problem of traveling to replace currently accepted solutions. The additional costs involved in paying without cash, and the range of needs of users, whether they are consumers, suppliers, or business people. Firstly, if the current solution is convenient, quick, and easy to access, as is the case of India shops with no S and fast cash dealer, and due to the low crime rate and safety of banknotes in Singapore, then it is less likely to succeed. Secondly, costs on a number of fronts may hold back the application, such as supporting technology costs, payment of user fees, and high conversion discount rates, as in Thailand and Japan. Whether the costs are too high and so less used, the needs of any introduced parties will also affect success. Consumers may have data privacy and safety problems, but need faster checkout or are culture sensitive to seeing non-cash alternatives, such as debate in German. Businesses are also wary of problems such as tax adults, funding physical space for hardware, and training in new technologies. For example, in Thailand and Singapore, suppliers clearly need a solid value proposition to be able to manage and maintain a cashless system.
However, it is important to note that for now, we are talking about considering the no cash payment solution in both highly and lowly regulated economies. Most countries, such as China, Qianyu, Singapore, and European countries, are subject to a wide range of economic regulation. Therefore, as central banks considering natural support systems as public available networks and the benefits they bring to society, even if some are privately owned, such as a large international card networks such as Visa and MasterCard, they are not considered to be a major problem.
Okay. Time is almost up, so let's move on the last part. So, since there are these problems, can we think of some ways to deal with them as much as possible? Do anyone have any suggestions?
Let me start with this. From the perspective of the state and the business, the state should introduce the relevant norms and regulations. It can delineate responsibilities in cashless payment, promote the real-time systems for network, or contents suggest the protection and amounting information use and technologies to significantly improve regular efficiency and achieve the purpose of the protecting people's information society.
The state should affirm the significance of cashless payment. On the one hand, it should strengthen the publicity and promotion of various payment and settlement methods so that more public can understand the characteristics of various cashless payment and settlement methods. On the other hand, the state should maintain the order of RMB circulation, fully respect the payment and settlement habits of the public, and let the public choose the payment and settlement methods that are suitable for them on their own.
For enterprises without cash payment platforms, they should pay more attention to the improvement of security performance while innovating products. Illegal transactions should be prevented when developing mobile payment products, for example, by using big data to identify people and minimize security risk for consumers.
Yeah, summary. Maybe achieving cashless, we have a long way to go. On the one hand, customers need to accelerate the shift in customer behavior, accepting the new payment mode with an open mind and actively participating in the cashless trend. On the other hand, payment platform company should strengthen the awareness of our prevention and pay attention to the protection of user personal information and screen the reality of merchants or relative platforms in business market.
Well, anyone else want to aid?
No.
No.
So let's summarize. The cashless society has both advantages and disadvantages. But in general, the advantages still exceed the disadvantages. However, there are still many issues that need to be resolved in order to achieve a cashless society. Everybody agrees?
Yes.
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 So this is the end of our discussion for today. Thank you for your time and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.